Welcome to the International News Channel, News LD. Today we present to you a news entitled,
According to the director of the IMF, the agreement with Tunisia could take place in the coming weeks. Worldwide Financial Fund Director Kristalina Georgieva at the World Financial Discussion Board in Davos, January 17, 2023. FABRICE COFFRINI/AFP are the discussions between Tunisia and the Worldwide Financial Fund, IMF, essential for the nation's economic system, about to be concluded. Issues have progressed nicely and I'm optimistic that an agreement can be concluded quickly, declared French Ambassador André Parant on Friday, February 10 to the Tunisian press. Tuesday, it's the director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, who wished to be reassuring, welcoming the vital progress made by Tunisia with a view to approving an agreement which could take place in the subsequent weeks. Learn additionally, article reserved for our subscribers in Tunisia, the repressive flip of the Kais Saied regime. The stakes are excessive for the nation. The mortgage of $1.9 billion, about €1.8 billion, below negotiation, ought to convey a breath of contemporary air to a failing economic system. Tunisia's sovereign score has been downgraded to excessive danger by the score company Moody's, which refers to a debt default danger if sure financing will not be assured. Inflation exceeded the 10% mark in December and the unemployment price is stagnating at 15%. However, since December, discussions between Tunis and the IMF have been suspended sine die due to technical but in addition political blockages. The political stability needed for this type of agreement which includes main reforms, is certainly removed from shore. President Kais Saied has been criticized by the majority of political events since his July 25, 2021 coup and his focus of energy. The excessive abstention price, 89%, in the legislative elections of December and January and the latest wave of arrests of opponents and members of civil society have heightened the feeling of concern. The worry of bread revolts according to a number of diplomatic sources. The lack of possession by native actors of the financial reform program is especially problematic. The IMF expects the Tunisian authorities to publicly endorse the austerity measures selected below the mortgage so as to restrict the dangers of social explosion. But Kais Saied has nonetheless not formally acknowledged the want for the IMF program and continues to blame the financial issues on the speculators and corrupt. Unofficially, the worry of the repeat of the occasions of 1984, when the so-called bread revolts broke out following the lifting of subsidies on cereal merchandise, nonetheless weighs on financial decision-making in Tunisia, confides a diplomatic supply. The top of state, nonetheless, ratified the 2023 finance regulation at the finish of December, which offers for a battery of reforms supposed to rebalance state funds. Essentially the most scrutinized by worldwide companions issues the lifting of subsidies on hydrocarbons, which symbolize 5% of GDP and have elevated significantly between 2021 and 2022 due to the surge in worldwide barrel costs. Tunisia desires to attain the fact of costs by the finish of 2023. These rose 5 instances in 2022. However, the rise didn't proceed after the legislative elections, sending a detrimental sign about the nation's potential to meet its personal commitments. Learn additionally, in Tunisia, the worrying democratic disenchantment. A very powerful factor will not be the lifting of meals subsidies, however the lifting of subsidies in the fuel and gasoline sector, insisted Fouad Belhaj, vice president of the World Financial Institution for North Africa and the Centre East, in a press release on Mosaic FM radio on February 9. Tunisia will not be alone, all its companions need to assist it. However, it should additionally assist itself. He added, the federal government has tried to present a number of ensures of its dedication to cut back the public deficit, for instance by lowering the wage invoice from 15.45 to 14.9% of GDP between 2021 and 2022 or by signing a decree on February 9 on the reform of public enterprise governance. However, lots stays to be finished, estimates the economist Abdelkader Boudriga. How can authorities confronted with such political instability persuade of its potential to implement troublesome reforms? The interval of excessive social danger. One other massive unknown issues the authorities is potential to discover funding to full its 2023 funds and pay its money owed. If the agreement with the IMF is unblocked, the first tranche, which can be paid this, almost $400 million, represents solely a tiny half of the wants of the Tunisian funds, evaluated between $1.5 and $1.8 billion, in accordance to the Central Financial Institution of Tunisia. The finalization of the agreement with the IMF stays essential to encourage different donors to assist Tunisia. Presently, solely France and the European Union overtly affirm their assist for the nation. Talks for a $1.3 billion mortgage from Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates failed. Learn additionally, article reserved for our subscribers in Tunisia. The stiffening of the UGTT in opposition to energy reshuffles the political playing cards. These uncertainties are all the extra worrying as the nation is getting into an interval of excessive social danger, with the declared rupture between the presidency and the Essential Commerce Union FABRICE, the Tunisian Basic Labor Union, UGTT, and the begin of Ramadan in March. It is an essential time for Tunisians and a barometer of social discontent, as households have to spend extra to save the fast-breaking meal, so frustrations rise. Feedback advisor Chamaboul. Publication The Africa World. Each Saturday, discover a week of information and debates, by the editorial workers of Monde Afrique. Register. The buying energy of Tunisians has already been drastically lowered in 2022 with the improve in costs and the scarcity of shore-backed merchandise, together with milk, rationed at 2 packs per day and per individual in shops. Lilia Blaise, Tunis, correspondence.